It's DTS 101, and we have so much to talk about. Tons of Rise of Iron info, as well as patch 2.3 going live like that. Oh yeah, it's a big show.
You're listening to Destiny, the show.
What's good, everybody? My name is BBKDRAGOON. Welcome to Destiny, the show. Oh man, big week. I don't even want to do pleasantries. I don't want to do the usual howdy doodies. Ditty, what's up, man?
Not much. Jumping in right after that E3 Sony press conference.
Yep, that's right. So we stayed watching the press conference Monday. We decided to record a lot of the bulk of the show yesterday, Sunday, all the Rise of Iron info that we need to know. And we're like, you know what? There's going to be some Destiny stuff at E3. Let's wait for the press conference. So we just got through the press conference. Nothing really for Destiny shown. They did do some interviews earlier in the day, right?
Yes, I was watching the YouTube stream, and Jeff Keighley had game director Christopher Barrett on. He was on the Rise of Iron reveal stream last week, so we've already seen him. Nothing really new there.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing new. Just what he talked about on the reveal stream, what Rise of Iron is, just bringing more people into the mix.
But it's good we waited until Monday night, because earlier today they actually dropped info about patch 2.3, which is live probably by the time you're listening to this. It's intended to go live Tuesday, June 14th. And boy, oh boy, not only is it doing some exceptional weapon tuning changes that we're briefly going to go over, there's some class balance changes, especially hunters. They're under the radar this time around, so it's nice to see that these are becoming regular. Just like our weapon updates, now we're getting regular class updates. We're going to go through those briefly. We're bringing on an expert next week to go more in depth about his feelings regarding these changes. But before we dive into it, Ditty, what do you think of the press conferences? What do you think of E3? I watched the Sony briefing and the Xbox briefing, and all I can say is I think Sony killed it, man.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. I didn't watch the Xbox because I was at work, but I got my info from Twitter and Discord. But Sony, they did it right, man. They just showed game trailers, No talking, very little talking, just that one guy coming out and in, oh, you're going to talk about this, and then you're going to just see 18 different game trailers.
And the gameplay,
really
too.
Good.
Uninterrupted gameplay, nobody giving invasive commentary over it. They let the game speak for itself, and that's what I loved. You just get to sit there, watch the person play for 5 minutes. They didn't cut away from the gameplay. They had this great little overlay that showed the person playing crowd shots without cutting away from the gameplay. In contrast, the Xbox conference, and I'm normally, an Xbox guy with Halo being such a big staple of the stuff that I play, I was disappointed with their conference this morning. So few demos, and when they do the demos, they'd cut away, they'd have invasive commentary all over that thing, and then usually just show a cinematic trailer, have a guy come out and talk for like 45 seconds and say, okay, I hope you guys, just show the game, man. Sony knocked the ball out of the park. And Crash Bandicoot,
agree.
Bro.
I gotta say, my girlfriend, Sanic, she actually cried at the Resident Evil reveal because she's like, ooh, virtual reality horror game. And to put it in perspective, Resident Evil is her favorite game of all time. It's literally her favorite, more than we all love Halo and Destiny combined. And so when it just did Resident Evil 7 at the very end, she just went in excitement and just cried for about 10 minutes. It was awesome.
Is a PlayStation VR in your future?
It has to be now. She's downloading the demo as we record this, and she's basically already pre-ordered one.
Kojima-san came out, dude, and showed off his new game, Death Stranding. Super crazy, weird trailer, as you would expect from Kojima, and he's been tweeting out even weirder pictures on his thing. But
Stranding is a word, by the way. It didn't sound like a word when I first saw it, but
you Googled it.
I did, yep.
All right, man. We got a lot to talk about. Let's go through the Destiny weapon tuning stuff and the class balance. Links to both of these things are going to be in the show notes down below. First off, the Destiny weapon tuning stuff. We're just doing a broad overview. We're not going to go too deep right now. We don't have enough time. There's way too much Rise of Iron to talk about today. Okay, Hand cannons. The low-range hand cannons are getting a bit of an increased initial accuracy drop-off, basically. So a little bit of a buff. To those low-range hand cannons, which pretty nice. They also are adjusting Hawk Moon to compensate. They think Hawk Moon's just performing a little bit too well, so it's going to be getting a slight stability reduction. What about auto rifles? You've complained about Doctrine before.
I have, and real quick on hand cannons, they're also buffing the PvE damage very slightly on all hand cannons.
Yep.
Doctrine of Passing, Soul Stealer's Claw, Arminius D, those are getting a little bit of a nerf, reduce the damage of high rate of fire autos by 6%.
Yeah, I think fairly justified. Those weapons still seem to kill pretty quick. Also, I'd love to see this. Counterbalance is getting a little bit of a nerf. Instead of a 90% recoil angle reduction, it's going to be 80%. This is, I'm betting you, a reaction to Hawksaw. Counterbalance Hawksaw, you think? Am I crazy?
No, I don't think so. I just recently got the Swarm, which is a Vanilla Destiny Year 1 heavy machine gun from the Vanguard with counterbalance, perfect balance, and persistence. So it's just a laser beam. And it's pretty great. I'm not going to lie. It's amazing.
There's a few other small changes, but for the most parts, those are the biggies. Anything that we missed that are large and in charge?
No, they're just doing a couple bug fixes of different weapons here and there.
It takes less time to automatically grab ammo from the battlefield for when you're running low. That one I just don't really understand, but okay, whatever. Sweet. All right, what's going on? The big stuff with Hunters, Ditty. What is the overview for their changes?
So they're buffing a lot of PvE super damage. So your Golden Gun's going to do more damage. Your Blade Dancer's going to do more damage. That's really, really nice. They're doing a quality of life adjustment to gunslinger grenades. Trip mines, not going to be able to stick anymore, but they arm as soon as they hit something. So if you're jumping in the air and I throw a trip mine at you, as soon as it bounces off your body, it's going to arm. So it's kind of like spinning and it's going to explode. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see, just random kills. Damage reduced by 3% as well. Swarm grenades, they're getting a little bit of a buff. Increased arming radius by 0.5 meter and detonation damage increased by 7%. Throwing knife is getting a nerf, which I disagree with.
It's for the
much.
one shots. Like if you get the headshot with the burn on a really low armor build, you can get one
so
shot
the
with
thing
that.
about that is they do have to be at the lowest armor build, and if they kill you when your throwing knife is in the air, the flame of the incendiary throwing knife doesn't always activate. So it's super buggy, and I don't really agree with that. Blade Dancer, Blink Strike now occurs a -1 recovery. They're just doing a little bit more quality of life changes again to the Blade Dancer. We're not going into too much detail today, but more damage on the Blade Dancer against PvE enemies and better hit detection at the end of the lunge.
Yeah, and so with Arc Blade, it looks like, so the energy cost per swing is increased, but the energy cost on the hit is decreased. So making it more a skill shot where if you land it, you're getting more of a benefit than the guy who just wildly swings as he's trying to get to you, right?
Yeah, instead of using the Blade Dance to get around the map really quickly, it's going to be a little bit more detrimental to, swing just to get across the room.
Night Stalker stuff, any real big changes there?
The Spike Grenade is getting another quality of life change. It's not really a buff. It's just better. It's going to... They increase the damage tick rate, and it lasts a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
And the damage is increased a little bit, but it's the same total damage. So the total damage is unchanged, but it's just ticking faster. Shadow Shot now suppresses on hit. Thank God. That is amazing.
The way it should have been.
I love that. Yeah. That's so no more... hammers flying at you after you've shot them with a Shadow Shot.
And the big one, Shade Step, is now a single dodge on a 3-second cooldown. And Twilight Garrison is the same exact thing. It's a single dodge now on a 3-second cooldown instead of the double, right?
Yes. Don't really like that, but I can kind of understand it. I just won't be using Shade Step that much anymore.
I like it with the Garrison. I'm telling you what, if you play against a beast freaking skating Garrison guy in Trials, it's fully terrifying. And then for Hammer of Soul, Fist of Havoc, or not Hammer of Soul, excuse me, Fist of Havoc and Nova Bomb, they're both getting 50% damage buffs in both PvP and PvE. And Storm Trance and Hammer of Soul are both getting 10% buffs against PvE enemies. They do address Firebolts. They're giving a little bit of nerf to Firebolt nades. They're giving a little bit of a nerf to Viking Funeral. So that's nice. That's great to see. It's a little bit delayed. I'm glad that it made its way into this patch, though. So feedback took a little while, but feedback transferred into active changes. We'll talk more about this next week after we've had some experience. And like I said, we're going to bring on an old friend, an expert who's been on many a DTS before. So with all that said, I think it's time to talk about Rise of Iron. We're going to cut to the portion of the stuff that we recorded yesterday, going into detail. Ditty, it's finally here. We have seen Rise of Iron. This is all the information that we saw within the Bungie live stream, the following TWAB, and the stuff that's come out from the art and press photos released from there. If stuff happened at E3, which there most likely was something at the Sony press conference that we already talked about that was at the front of the show. So let's just run down the list. What's going on with Rise of Iron? Just set this thing up for me.
It's the Lords of Iron, man. Lord Saladin is back, and he's got quest lines and PvE stuff for us this time. New story, new weapons, new zone, new social space, new Crucible maps, new enemy faction, large expansion. It's going to be awesome.
New raid.
Yes, new raid
it's
confirmed.
Real. They showed footage of it, and it looks so cool. It's outdoors. It's snowy. A giant boss is chasing the Guardians down the wall. It reminds me of the Final Fantasy VII boss, Motorball. If any of you have played the Escape to Midgar section, or Escape from Midgar, straight up Motorball. Oh, my word. You know what's funny, Ditty? When I was on my business trip, prior to it, we joked about it. They're not going to drop the trailer. They totally dropped the trailer while I was traveling. I slept during the reveal stream. I was so tired after like 14 hours of flying. I'm like, I'm going to stay up for this. And then I woke up at like 2 p.m. like, dang it, I missed it. But I've seen the recaps. Okay, so let's just start from the top. There is the whole backdrop of the Lords of Iron. These are Crucible legends, right?
Not necessarily just Crucible, but they are legends in the Destiny universe.
Okay. And we only have Lord Saladin left. Apparently, the rest of the Iron Lords sacrificed themselves to stop the plague long ago, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what on earth is the plague? Because in the notes, the plague has returned. What is that?
It's the new enemy that we're going to be encountering in Rise of Iron, and they specifically said it's an ancient evil, and the Iron Lords sacrificed themselves to contain it, except for Lord Saladin. We'll find out why in the story mission, I assume. Siva, S-I-V-A, I believe is the correct spelling, is the mastermind, I guess, behind the plague.
Okay.
It's a technological plague that infects machines. So
okay, so the
War
Fallen
Minds, maybe? That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, more of the servitors being just bad. So the Fallen are obsessed with technology and sort of, what would you call it, hybriding themselves with technology, enhancing themselves with technology. And the plague, like you said, is this technological infection of sorts. So robot mutant Fallen, is that too far from the truth?
No, that's pretty much what it is. They're plagued Fallen.
Okay, and they are dead set on becoming basically machine gods and trying to take over Earth, yeah?
Yep, they're augmenting themselves with this new plagued technology to become more powerful.
So time travel theories are gone, right?
Yes, we are playing in current timelines.
Current day timeline, Saladin is needing to push the plague back because they've arisen once again. They're trying to take over Earth. We will explore backstory of the Lords of Iron and learn a lot about the past, why they sacrificed themselves, why Saladin remains and wasn't immortalized like his fighting partners, kind of a deal. But it's current day Destiny.
Yes.
Okay, cool. New story, new campaign. Snow and mountains. A lot of the footage in the art that we have seen, we thought it could have been Europa, which is, I think, it's a Jupiter moon or something that has been teased before in some of the way old data mine stuff. But this is actually on Earth. What are these zones that we're going to?
So the new zone is, I think it is the Plague Lands. I think that's going to be the new zone. It's in the Cosmodrome. It's inside Old Russia.
Confirmed. Okay.
Yep. Fellwinter Peak, they haven't confirmed this, but I believe it to be the new social space. Okay. It has some incorporation with the story missions, so maybe at the end of the story missions, we are going back to Fellwinter's Peak, which is the stronghold of the Lords of Iron.
Yeah.
Or it used to be anyways.
There's a mausoleum up there too, right?
Yeah, mausoleum to pay homage
to the old Iron Lords. Like I saw a bunch of statues of them up there, a big burning fire thing. So we'll be visiting Fellwinter Peak to learn more about the backstory and also rewards. I overheard that in the stream. So I think your idea of this being the social space is probably dead on. Do you think they didn't talk about it as the social space, like confirming it, just because this zone is probably tied deeply to the in-game story and players will need to unlock it?
I think so. I think that's feasible. Beat the story missions of Rise of Iron to unlock the social space. I think the story missions would be, let's take back the peak from the Plagued Fallen. They also mentioned access to the Wall. We're going back to the Wall where we first started our Destiny experience. We're going to be inside of it, on top of it, and things beyond the Wall. They teased that. That's
Does that make you think Wild?
Yes, I want it to be the Wild, because everything inside the Wall, we built the Wall for a purpose, to keep things out. Let's go fight them.
So the Plague Lands, Deej said, this is the first time we've been able to put new boots on the ground on a planet we've already visited in terms of a new patrol zone. So the Plague Lands will be our new patrol zone, and there's new public events, I assume?
Yes, new public events and patrol missions as well.
I'm going to slam my fist on the desk. I'm not really going to do this, but it's confirmed. There were more patrol zones for Earth and for the rest of the areas than just one. There was a picture from long, long ago. I have referenced it here a bunch in show probably 9 or 10. We said, where are the other patrol zones? Because we saw an image that had multiple patrol zones within Old Russia and Cosmodrome, right?
Yep.
Okay, so boom. That means, well, I don't know if that'll mean we'll get more on Venus and Mars moving forward, because Destiny 2 is the obvious or assumable next step. Off topic, new story campaign. What's going on with that? Do we have new quests or something like that?
Yeah, we got new cinematic story, new missions, new story missions specifically, and new quest lines.
So cinematic in terms like new cutscenes, you think?
Yes, they did say cutscenes in the reveal stream. So we got new cinematic experiences. So this might be, obviously it's going to be in-engine stuff, because that's a lot of the cutscenes that are currently in Destiny.
Okay.
So that's going to be really nice.
The light level will be raised. They were not ready to share with us what it will be, but yes, we are getting a bump in the maximum light level. They said light level,
significant increase. Yep.
Take your bets. 380. That's mine.
I would say at least 400. I'm going to just throw it out there.
Okay.
We're going 4.
Going to 4 right off the bat, man. There's a new raid. Can we just take a second to breathe a huge sigh of relief? There's a raid. It's not House of Wolves. It looked very cool. It looked like there were large outdoor spaces. It looks like there are snow falling effects. And the reason I mention that is because Rise of Iron is only on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. We did it, dude. Next gen.
We did it, yep.
I didn't think it was going to be this early. Did you?
No, neither did I, to be honest.
I want to throw a disclaimer out here, because going to next gen with Rise of Iron does not mean all of Destiny's quote-unquote last-gen problems will be resolved. For the last year and a half, Destiny players have blamed a myriad of things, ourselves included, on last-generation technology limits. Just because Rise of Iron is next-gen only does not mean it's going to be able to fully take advantage of next-gen hardware. I think you're only going to see that when we get to Destiny 2. So don't go into this expecting, all right, there'll be dedicated servers and huge vault space, and I'm going to have everything fixed that was wrong with the game. I just don't think that's realistic, man.
Yeah, if you think about it, the current Destiny engine was built for both generations. Mm-hmm. So Rise of Iron is probably built for both generations. Not necessarily. I take that back. It's built for obviously this current generation, but it's not going to have significant improvements like we're thinking of. I think once we get to Destiny 2 or a future release, that's when we would see a new next-gen only Destiny engine, and that would allow us, or Bungie, to do more things in terms of expanding Destiny's potential.
I think it's particle effects. I really think for some of the snow in the larger areas that they let players experience in Rise of Iron, or I'm assuming from the trailer footage, I just don't think 360 or PS3 could handle much more. Those things were being pushed to the absolute limit. And so I'm excited. I'm really excited. Don't get me wrong. This is the right step. And to old gen players, you know, all I got to say is you're still going to be able to play Destiny, but it's time. And I don't mean to say that in an insensitive way. Ditty, did you see the post that was at the top of Reddit for most of this week about a message to last-gen players?
I think so, yep.
Okay, I'm going to paraphrase it like poorly, but it just said, look, I'm bummed, I'm a last-gen player, but I also understand it. It's time. Let's push this game further forward.
Yeah, and there was another mention, I think it was in the comments of that one. You know, you can start saving up now every week or every month, put some money away to get that next gen console. Also, remember this, E3, we're most likely going to have new console announcements like Xbox 1.5 or
the
PlayStation
Xbox S
4.5.
Actually, it just came out the leaked images Slim. Just came out. Yeah,
it's going to be it's a new version of of this generation consoles, so that means the older versions probably going to get a price drop,
price reduction,
and you want to wait as long as you can before you get that new console, because there's usually going to be deals around the time for by the time Destiny the Rise of Iron launches.
The week before E3, Sony has said we're not going to show off the new PlayStation, which was like the first confirmation that, oh, there is a new PlayStation 4 in the work. Or we don't know the details on it. It's probably going to be shown by the time this podcast comes out. But the rumor is, and I'm not going to talk too much about it because if it is announced, we already talked about it earlier in the show, that they will, like Destiny is going to work with Sony to have some incentivized deal to upgrade. If you're an old gen player and you want to upgrade for Rise of Iron, they'll probably have a discounted Rise of Iron package that you can purchase for a PlayStation 4. I don't think you'll see that happening with Xbox, but again, I don't want to spend too much time here because the conference has already happened by the time you guys are listening to this. New Crucible, Ditty, what's going on with the Crucible stuff?
I think we should skip back real quick. New Strike. A new strike is confirmed.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
And upgraded strikes. They said they're bringing back old favorites. I expect a Plagued Sepix Prime.
Yeah, Fogoth, bro.
And Fogoth. Yeah.
Bring him back.
Oh, man. Throw grenades, Fogoth. Throw little curse thrall grenades. That would be amazing.
Right. Oh, that's so good.
Ooh.
Or you have one of these Siva Plague Fallen riding on him like Master Blaster from Thunderdome, controlling him. Yeah, okay.
That would be awesome.
All right, Crucible stuff, yeah?
Yes, new maps and a new mode. A new Crucible mode.
CTF?
Capture the Flag? Ooh, man.
We already have Rift, which is...
Yeah, which is their take, I guess.
Yeah.
What could it be?
I don't know. If I had any choice, Oddball be kind of cool. I liked Oddball. I don't know how that would work with Destiny, though, in Blink. That would be annoying. King of the Hill I could get down on. Maybe a bigger... Wait. Whoa. I got it. As I cough here. Big Team Battle. Because this is next gen. You knew where I was going with that.
I knew where you were going.
You know where I was going with that. Big Team Battle, 10v10 or 8v8 or craziness.
First Light, bring it back.
Bring it back.
Once. Let's bring it back.
Not with icebreakers. Oh, yuck. But
you know what would be it would be disappointing, but really exciting at the same time if this new Crucible mode was custom games.
Don't.
It wouldn't be match made, right? Because that would be the disappointing part. You know?
Yeah.
It's not a new playlist, but it's custom games.
In the stream, they mentioned they're going to talk in detail about a lot of stuff going on with the Crucible, like new features. That's the actual quote, is new features. So perhaps it is on the table, dude. It is something that would be huge. If custom games came into PvP, that would be the biggest step forward for Crucible that I could see any choice on the table for them.
Yeah, custom games, please.
Please. So the new enemy faction is the Plague Fallen, new bosses. Gjallarhorn is coming back. How does that work?
I don't know. They might tweak the exotic perk, the Wolfpack rounds, even though they did show footage of it and it looked the same.
Okay.
They might tweak how it really works in the game. But they're bringing it back. Year 3 Gjallarhorn will be available to everybody.
Everyone.
Yep. They confirmed you basically recraft your Gjallarhorn. Like, you'll find the parts and you'll forge a new Gjallarhorn. They said something like that.
So a quest.
It's a quest line, yes. It's going to be like Touch of Malice was for the Taken King. You find the parts, you piece it together. There you go, Gjallarhorn. If you pre-order, you get the Iron Gjallarhorn skin, but you don't have to pre-order to get your Gjallarhorn.
Yep. So they've learned. You can definitely tell in the stream, look, guys, everybody can earn their Gjallarhorn. It's not a pre-order bonus only. Everybody can get at this, but you get the black one if you pre-order. I think that's a pretty dang good little incentive right there. I'm going to do it anyway because,
somebody on Twitter or in the Destiny the Show Discord, they said, calling it now, the music in the trailer is going to be back in black.
Oh, man. It makes sense because they've been doing all those throwback tunes, the new covers of them. So this is coming out on September 20th.
I've taken that whole week off work. If any of my coworkers are listening to this, I am going on vacation and I'm staying home and I'm playing video games all day. You better believe it. I want to take this time to confirm Destiny the Show Twitch streams are returning that week. Yep.
Yeah.
I will start 7 a.m. U.S. Central Time. Probably not that specific, but I'm going to start early in the morning and we're going to go for 10, 12 hours every single day. We've already got the raid team with the Pineapple Boys situated. So if the raid launches on the delay like it did for Taken King, you better believe we're going to be the first ones down in that pit or in
rewind
the
the clock.
Lands. On top
Tuesday,
of the wall,
Taken King.
wherever.
Tuesday, Taken King came out. Friday, King's Fall came out. You had to reach 290 light within those 3 days. You guys did it. I did not. I think I was like 280 by the time it came out. But I'll see if I can try and take off Wednesday for it. It's always, I hate that everything comes out on Tuesday. Tuesday is my longest work day. I work till like 11 p.m., man. So
that sucks.
That's okay. That's all right. How much is this going to cost me?
$30 US. 30. The Taken King was 40. This one's 30.
Okay. So I wanted to ask this question. With it being priced at $30, did they pick this price point because maybe it's a little bit less than the Taken King, so they're dropping it down to about $30, and our expectations are for something a little smaller.
In terms of content, less
in terms
content
of content.
Here?
Yeah. Or is it priced at $30 because there was some negative pushback at the price tag of the Taken King? You and I, since we're hardcore Destiny people, we loved it. We thought it was well worth our $40 and we got our time out of it. But there was a lot of pushback at the price point. I think it's going to be the size of the Taken King, maybe a little bit bigger, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'd say it's a coin flip between those two. It could be either or both, you know? It could also be because they're dropping last-gen consoles. They wanted to provide a better selling point for those people who have to upgrade. And by the time I get to this point, or you get to this point in the show, it's going to be, they probably know that information. But $30, I would say it's the same size as Taken King. Especially in terms of all the content that they've announced. Strike, Crucible, Story Missions, Raid. I would say it's the same size as Taken King. Yeah.
It's everything that the Taken King had in terms of the pre-marketing materials that we know about, except for them touting our patrol zone is the biggest patrol zone ever with so much stuff to explore. Like that, they've not pimped out, but that's okay. I think most of us with the Taken King, the Dreadnought was cool, but that's not why we bought the expansion, was for that patrol zone.
No,
it's got a raid, man. Rise of Iron has a raid. I'm there. I'll throw money at those raids are worth it, man.
Yeah, I also expect limited editions to be a little bit more expensive, a little bit more content. Yeah. Just like every other DLC or expansion we've had in every game ever since that was a thing. So expect those. I'll probably get one of the limited editions because It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that white PS4 for the Taken King. I wish I would have.
I wish I had $400.
Yeah. Fast forward back to Monday night. Ditty and I, we're both excited for Rise of Iron. As more information comes out, we're going to continue to update you guys. I'm sure the weekly update, or the TWAB, is going to drop some new information. I'm so glad that Bungie took the time to do a proper reveal stream on their own instead of just trying to stick it into the Sony conference, because, you know, if we just got a trailer at the Sony conference, it's not the same as getting a nice 30 minutes discussion between the developers. I love that they have that studio now, right, Ditty?
Yeah, absolutely. And they did mention, you know, there's a lot to talk about still, Crucible changes, PvE specific changes as well. So I anticipate another reveal schedule similar to House of Wolves in the summertime. And I'm really excited. You know, we kind of knew Activision wasn't going to be at E3 this year, so we did get our hopes up, but we did get the reveal beforehand, so that's really nice. Kind of disappointed nothing about Destiny 2 has been said yet, but I also understand that it's way off in the future and they're focusing on Rise of Iron. So I'm just really excited to see those rest of the reveal streams, you know, if they do them.
The next 12 weeks are going to go by so fast, and there's going to be more streams. You know it. They're going to be talking about lots of Crucible stuff. We're going to see more information about the story. I bet you they do some more. There's got to be raid trailers.
Sorry, I just let that drop
in
there.
Addition to what we've seen so far. I'm so happy. This is DTS. I think at our favorite moment in podcasting is always when we're leading up to an expansion, because we just get, once the content train starts, guys, speaking from experience here, we always have more than we can talk about in our 30 minutes, man. It's freaking awesome. With that said, Ditty, where can people find your content?
It's going to be at twitter.com/Ditty, DTS, DITTY, DTS, and discord.me/Destiny the Show.
Awesome. Remember to check out destinytracker.com for all the awesome stat tracking features that they offer. You can see the links from today and more over on destinytheshow.com. We'll have all the update stuff there too. You can follow us at Destiny the Show on Twitter. You can follow me at BBKDRAGOON on both YouTube and Twitter, same name. And we'll see you guys next week. I'm sure TWAB, watch Thursday. Thursday afternoon, TWAB's going to be bringing us some more info. Can guarantee it. Have a good week, everybody.